you've been part of our success for such a long time and one of our top selling agents, but it has gone beyond that because part of the way we like to do business is we like to deal with people we have confidence in the sense of we know that person knows the business, understands what they're selling, understands the marketplace really well, and is there to follow through the entire process. Because that's a really important part and something we've always appreciated when we're working with you, Dan, is that you're there with your clients from day one, but you're also there to help them out right through closing. And I would say, without a doubt, you're one of the handful of top agents in the city that you're always making sure that your client's being serviced and knows what's going on and helping them out right from not just signing an agreement at the beginning, but right through their pre-delivery inspection to the final closing. So we like to do business with an agent like yourself who's got that level of knowledge and you've got this kind of, like ourselves, when we talk about ourselves, we say we service a client from beginning to end completely in-house. And I know you're doing the exact same thing, right, to if it's an investor purchasing, managing, and finding them a tenant. So it's a really good relationship we have because we have the confidence in your abilities and what your team does in doing way more than just selling a condominium suite, but taking it from the beginning of the process, helping your client get a mortgage all the way through to closing. But again, Dan, it's been so long that I honestly cannot remember that first meeting we had, although I can say I'm glad we did have it.
Today, I'm going to share with you some insider news from a very special someone. We are going to talk about the current situation, construction costs, project cancellations, future outlook, and so on. Make sure you stay till the very end because we are going to announce some amazing deals that you won't be able to find anywhere else in the GTA. The very first pre-construction project that I had ever worked on was from this developer. I personally own multiple investment units from this developer. I've been through a lot of market ups and downs with this person. He taught me how to think big and look far ahead. Dominic, Vice President of Sales from Daniels Corporation.
Thank you for joining us today. My name is Dominic Tompa, and I'm the Vice President of Sales for the Daniels Corporation.
Hey Dom, can you tell us a little bit about the history of Daniels?
Absolutely, Dan. So we're one of Canada's largest builder developers in the country. We have over 36 years of construction and development history and have built over 30,000 homes across the GTA. So a very substantial history and body of work that we've done.
That's an easy question. I'm going to ask him some harder questions now. There are many developers in the GTA. What is so unique about Daniels?
What's really unique about us is that from beginning to end, we do everything. So from planning, designing, developing, building, we manage everything in-house, which is what allows us to have the quality and the streamlined service that we have. So a lot of the developers you see out there that are selling condominiums, they do not do the complete service. So they are developing a project, and then when it comes to constructing it, they're actually going to outside contractors. What we have that's unique is we develop it, we have an in-house sales team, and we have our own in-house construction team. So from beginning to end, Daniels is in control of the entire process, which in this industry, there's only a handful of builder developers who do the entire thing like we do.
Why is it so powerful to have the ability to control the entire process?
It's really important when you think about how our industry operates. In the last little while, we've seen some projects which haven't gone ahead. One of the things that the advantages you have when you are your own construction company is you have a very good handle on your costs. So before we go on sale, it's our in-house construction team that's really looking at the cost of construction, and their strong relationships with all the trades makes it possible for us to be very confident when we go on sale to understand again, from beginning to end, what that budget is going to look like. A lot of developers, what happens is they do go on sale and they get an estimate of what they think it's going to cost to build. But until they reach a certain level in sales, they're not going out and getting contracts to get the cost of the construction. And when they do, sometimes they're surprised. In the last few years, we've really seen an increase in construction costs that have been quite dramatic, that have had effects on profitability.
That's a very important insight we normally don't see from the outside. Let's talk about the market. With the number of sales dropping dramatically because of COVID-19, what do you think the market outlook would be?
So the demand in this city has been tremendous for a very long time. And COVID has kind of stopped a lot of business activity, not just real estate, but all activity. It hasn't been stopped because of economic reasons. It's been stopped because of an actual emergency situation. As soon as people start going back to work, all of the demand and all of the reasons why real estate was so active will come right back. Like if you take a look at different times in the economy, like the early 90s when there was a real estate correction, but you were dealing with interest rates where 5-year mortgage rates were over 13%. Today, they're so low that it doesn't make sense to have money in the bank because you're earning so little interest. You're able to borrow money at such low rates that your leveraging is such a great opportunity. And real estate is one of the best opportunities to leverage that, the fact that interest rates are so low on your investment, so that even if the real estate is only tracking inflation, you're way better off than if the money's sitting in the bank.
Yes, I agree. And the whole world is printing money. So money is getting cheaper and cheaper.
Yeah, and you're right. And when money is cheaper, the way to make money is to not have it sitting in a bank account making 1% interest. The way to do it is to leverage it in investments. And real estate being, one of the most tangible investment. It's not like stocks. Real estate is, you can see, touch, and feel it. So it gives people confidence because it's something they can really feel, right? And see. Again, leveraging that money makes a lot of sense at a time where money's sitting in a bank account is really making you nothing. We're not talking about risky leverage here, right? So this isn't investing in stock futures or commodity futures and betting on where it's going to go. If you invest in a good location in real estate, as I was saying, if that real estate does nothing but keeps track with inflation, you're still going to be so much further ahead than if you're just putting that money in a bank.
Absolutely. Financial leverage is one of the most powerful advantages in real estate investing. And I think most of us realize that when there is uncertainty, when there's fear in the market, it is actually the best time to buy. But the big question that we really want to ask is, are you going to do a pandemic sale to clear up all the projects that you have planned for 2020? I mean, like huge, incredible discounts.
Yeah, I hear that a lot from people. And, the interesting thing about deals is, on resale, I guess maybe there are some people who really need to sell. And so you'll find some deals on the resale side. On the new side, other than if you have inventory like that's already built and you're down to 4 or 5 units and you just want it out the door because it doesn't make sense to have a sales office going, that's the only stuff you might get some deals on in the next while. Because the reality is from brand new that's not even started construction, we have to look at our costs of construction. And the reality is they aren't going anywhere. They're high. So I think for a developer, if you're planning a project and you can't get the price that you need to in order to make it successful, you're just not going to sell. You're going to close your doors and wait until you can get the price, because otherwise you risk the concern that everyone has, which is, these projects that sell and then get canceled because when they look at their costs, they realize that they sold it for too little. And that's, the construction costs, they don't go down quickly, because you have to realize that there's this lag time for construction, that they're not working on projects today that were sold 3 months ago. They're working on projects that were sold 2 years ago. And they have business for the next 3 to 4 years, even if you don't sell a single unit for this next 12 months. There's no pressure on the construction industry to reduce prices because they have a lot of work and they have a lot of work for the next few years. They really wouldn't see any reduction, or they wouldn't start worrying until about a year out of when they're out of business. So you think of all the projects right now that are sold and are going to start construction and are looking at completions in 2023, 2024, and there's lots of them, right? There's enough of them there that the whole industry is busy until 2024, and it's only 2020. So when people say, well, will prices come down? How can prices come down if they're not going to reduce their prices? And if the cost of materials and everything is up because those materials are again, in demand for the next 4 years for all the stuff that was sold in 2017, 2018, 2019, right? So it's not possible on our side to reduce our prices because the costs have actually gone up and the margins are actually lower than they've ever been in the industry. So again, I mean, people who think that there's somehow going to be these incredible deals out there where people are going to just drop their prices incredibly, it's not possible. You'd be better off just closing your doors and go to Florida for 2 years rather than sell at a loss, because you won't get the money to build it anyways, right? You'll end up canceling your project.
That's a little disappointing for all of us looking for deals, but it is actually making a lot of sense why prices wouldn't be coming down. Speaking of project cancellations, I think we might see more cancellations coming out from the pandemic because the environment is making it harder for smaller developers to survive. What's your take on that?
I spoke earlier about us having our own in-house construction team, and that allows us to have a much better handle on costs. Part of what we've seen with the increase in costs over the last few years is some of the smaller developers and ones who haven't got the years of experience like we have sold out a project, and at first they feel really great because they just sold out their project, but they sold it out before they actually went to get their contracts to build. And so then they're going out to a general contractor who is now contracting at today's rate, not at the rate you sold it at a year ago, and realizing that the costs are up 13, 20%. And the margins that the industry works on are such that if your costs have gone up 20%, the project's no longer profitable. So even if the developer wanted to go ahead and build it at a break even, the bank's not going to lend them the money, right? And the banks, when there is any level of uncertainty in a marketplace, are like buyers in the sense that, as a buyer, you tend to go to the ones you can trust, the ones that have been there a long time. You go to quality, right? And so the banks are the same way. When it comes to lending money to developers, they're coming to people like Daniels, who've been here for 36 years with a great track record, and they want to do business with those companies rather than a developer who's done one project or two projects and is looking for money. So it all makes it harder for these smaller developers to be successful because they're kind of running against headwinds, and it's construction, it's banks, it's all of that. And so for a buyer, it makes a lot of sense to be smart about who you're buying from, know who you're buying from, go to quality. It's one of the things where whenever a market has uncertainty, the wise thing to do is to be doing business with ones who've been through every type of economic up and down and understand the marketplace really well.
Go to quality. That's a lot of wisdom in just a few words. Has Daniels ever canceled any pre-sold projects?
No, and I'm proud to say that. And there's a lot of reasons for it. One of the things is that we don't go on sale before we have approvals for a project. And this isn't even about construction costs. So a lot of developers will go on sale and they'll have a clause in the agreement of purchase and sale saying that it's conditional upon them getting final approvals. So right off the bat, there's a possibility that their project isn't going to go ahead. With us, we get approvals before we go on sale. And with our in-house construction team, we're very good at understanding what it takes to build and what the costs are going to be. So we have never had a project that hasn't gone ahead. And we're also really proud to say that we really work hard in making sure that we meet our occupancy dates that we put on agreements right from the start. And we're really good at that. Sometimes there are delays in construction you can't help. If there's a construction strike or even what's going on right now, it's going to delay things a bit. But, as a rule, we put a lot of effort into making sure that we deliver what we're promising right up front.
It is really important for us to know that a developer is treating its promise seriously, because I really believe how a company does anything is how it does everything.
The other thing is the quality of the construction. So that really matters, because you're putting money into this investment and you want to make sure you're getting a real quality construction service. And I always point to Terrion's High Rise Builder of the Year award that we've won so many times. And I say that because what Terrion does, anytime you buy new construction in Ontario, it has to be warranted by Terrion. So that's under provincial legislation. And part of what Terrion does is they survey every single person who purchases to get an understanding of what their experience was, whether, from construction quality to after sales service, to see what their experience was with their developer. And so what's good about that is these aren't industry awards in the sense that an industry gets together and says, hey, here's an award for being great. This is buyers giving feedback on what their actual experience was. And we've won I don't even know the exact number, but we've won the High Rise Builder of the Year so many times and are always in the top 3. And that matters because that's actual buyers saying you are giving us great service and you're delivering a great product. So that is something that buyers should pay attention to. Go onto the Terrion website and look up the developer that you're going to be doing business with. Circling back to the beginning of our conversation, when you're looking to buy a new condominium in the GTA, you should know who your developer is and deal with people who have a history of quality and good service over a long period of time. And know who your sales representative is, because you're actually starting a relationship that is going to be at a minimum of a period of 3 to 4 years. And so you want to make sure you're dealing with someone who's knowledgeable in the industry, who you know is going to be there and be delivering service to you, not just on the day you're signing, but 3 years down the road when you're finalizing your mortgage commitment and making sure that the pre-delivery inspection goes well. And if you're investing, that they're going to help you in finding a tenant and manage that property for you.
Thank you so much, Dominic, for your valuable insights. Every time I talk to you, I learn something new. You see, given the uncertainty in the market, it is natural for developers to hold back on launching any new projects and stay in an observer mode. But Daniels will be launching 6 projects in the coming few months. That's how confident they are. And it really shows their firm belief that quality people and products will shine even more during bad times. We know that there won't be any pandemic sale pricing. So, what is the big opportunity for investors and first-time buyers? Typically, you need a 20% deposit to buy any pre-construction unit. But Daniels will be offering extremely low deposit payment structures, like 5% or 10% for most of the projects. The first project will be launching in just a few weeks, at the end of May. There will be the second phase in the Thornhill community, just south of Bathurst and Highway 7 by the Promenade Mall. You just need a 5% deposit in the first month, then 1% every month to top it up to 10%. 3 to 4 years later, when the building is ready for occupancy, you will add another 10% to make it a 20% deposit. Artsy in Regent Park will be coming out in early June. Amazing opportunity in downtown Toronto with only 5% deposit in the first month, then only $1,000 per month until you reach a total of 10% deposit. There is nowhere else you can find such an opportunity in the entire GTA. Coming in September, condominiums at Square One District. Everything in Mississauga evolves around Square One. Daniels will be revitalizing the neighborhood together with Oxford, the owner of Square One. It will be the very first building in this master planned revitalization. Whenever you have a huge development like this, being the first always means a great investment. Following in October, Daniels will be launching First Home Q Style. It will be a first home community in the city of Toronto, at Keele and Eglinton. What does it mean to be a first home community? A total of 5% deposit is all you need. Construction will be underway before we go on sale. So, as a first-time home buyer, you have real certainty. Another first home community is one that currently selling at Markham and Shepherd. The next phase townhomes will be released in the next few weeks. And again, as a first home community, a total of 5% deposit is all you need. There will be also 24 urban townhomes in Regent Park. They are currently under construction and will go on sale sometime in the summer. You see, there are a lot of great products coming up in the next few months. The deposit structures are ones that you won't see again when everything's opened up. So it is up to you to take advantage of these opportunities, a maximum leverage from a minimum amount of money invested. I hope you enjoyed this Insider News episode. If you want to stay on top of the market, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell now.